Cool. So we kind of thought, a lot of people have asked around our new builds, what are we doing? We've also had a lot of people questioning where are we expanding to outside of South Africa. So I thought to kind of, with the audience that's here at the moment, and congratulations for staying so late, I tried to organize some free wine, but they said no, the bar's closed. But I thought we could take a little bit of a step back. I'm not going to take a lot of your time, I promise you, but to kind of go through what Teraco's gone through as a business case example for many of you looking at other regions, possibly trying to expand outside of South Africa, etc. So push the green button. So recently I was at an event with Frost & Sullivan, and the MD of Thomson Reuters actually presented this slide. And I thought it was actually quite cool because I've personally had a number of my friends leave the country and say, Africa's a terrible place. And actually not. If you take a step back, we are one of the few places that really has longevity around our resources. A lot of really, really intelligent people, a lot of land, and a lot of opportunity. And hence why you'll see a company like Teraco has been incredibly successful. Our shareholders are European and have understood the value of investing in Africa. And it's quite exciting when you actually take a step back and look at this map and you're kind of thinking, should I pack my bags and leave for broader horizons? Possibly not. Take a step back and have a look at someone like us who've really taken an opportunity and grown. So pretty much around the white space. And we saw previously the fantastic Afrinic presentations around latency, etc. We're also seeing a number around clusters. So a lot of people have said to us, come build a data center in Swaziland. Unfortunately, data centers need lots of operators, especially neutral data centers need a number of operators to exist in order to be able to survive. Otherwise, we're really one big empty fridge. So we need areas of high concentration where we can then invest that amount of capex to build and be able to service a market such as yourselves. So you'll see pretty much in terms of the African scale of data centers, South Africa is pretty much the biggest at the moment. And then you've got obviously your Nigerias, and then you've got your Kenyas. Go. Cool. So what is driving that kind of growth? And I kind of use Durban as a really good example for us. Durban it's a small market, and it's one of our smaller data centers. And to be honest, we really do struggle to fill it comparison to Joburg, where we constantly have to build. I mean, we've literally launched our new data center 5 months ago, and we had 60% capacity. And launching our Bradell site, which is 10 kilometers away, and that one is already pre-sold. We've sold over 2 MVA now already as it stands. So we actually can't keep up with the pace within Joburg. Whereas if you start looking at like a Durban, we really, really struggle to fill this data center. And if you take it right back to the economics of it, it's exactly what we see here in terms of GDP and GDP growth per region. So generally you'll start seeing data center operators try and follow these kinds of mathematics because that's where people are spending money, they're growing. Obviously network operators follow the eyeballs, they want to bring those in, and obviously the content people follow you guys as network operators. So once again, going back to size, so you'll see Joburg, pretty much we're sitting at the 2 sites, so the one is 24 MVA, the other 2 sites in Isando together form a 20 MVA, to the directive comparison of Durban sitting at 2 MVA and Cape Town sitting at the 3 MVA. The exciting thing is we're starting to see some growth out of Cape Town, which is great, and we're hoping that soon Durban will follow with exciting developments that Fiberco, etc. are starting to do. So our actual growth, these are figures, true facts, figures, everything. I had to bribe finance team to give them to me. So there we go, that's Teraco. So essentially we started our first launch data center. So we actually officially, the papers were signed in 2017 and 2007, and our first data center went live in 2010. in Cape Town, funny enough. But you'll see how the interconnection plus clients plus white space pretty much drives the whole data center growth. So right now, our full investment is we're sitting at 2 billion and needing to continuously ask. So APSA, funny enough, love us because we are continuously asking for money. We were there last week again asking for more money because apparently these generators and these UPSs and this white space is damn expensive. And by the way, not easy to get into Africa. So any of you thinking of building a data center, come chat to our operations team because we have to import everything. So trying to import a 2 MVA generator into Africa is not an easy thing. Andrew mentioned recently clients' equipment being stuck at customs. You can imagine what they try and do with the generator when it arrives at their doorstep. So no DC is the same. And definitely we welcome all of you guys to please come through. Chat on the SAFNOC group, you can reach out to us. We're happy to give anyone a tour. Like I always say, I never believed that we would see a mega data center happening in Africa. So it's quite cool that it's been our company that's kind of driven that. And we hope to see more of these mega data centers happen and continued growth. So around the no data center is the same. So typically what we do is we have a look at the type of clients moving into a data center, because a big key thing for us is obviously looking at what is the PUEs, making sure the cooling is correct for the type of clients. So our new data center, Burdell, is very much a kind of wholesale type data center. If you had to equate it, very similar to a digital realty and looks very similar. So we had a lot of tours with digital realty. And if you look at Isando, looks very similar to Telecity, Equinix, Telehouse, those kinds of environments. And the two are two very different clients that move in there. One saying, I want massive power and a big hall, and I don't want you coming in at all. You can't even brand it, you can't tell anyone. It's the most annoying thing ever. The other one being high interconnection, helping our clients to be able to buy and sell products between each other, and making things such as peering really, really easy. So it's around choice, huge cabling infrastructure, once again, both sides, massive Jennies, huge cooling. And the interesting thing is a wholesale data center is, funny enough, more easy to operate than a commercial type colo interconnect data center, because all of you have different hardware. We've got all the hardware vendors sitting everywhere. So we've got to make sure we cool this thing. And funny enough, you find a lot of obstacles, especially in Africa. Ben's looking at me smiling. But funny enough, the smallest thing is, because I'll give you a great example, was we have to import obviously all our cooling and our Jennies, etc. And in Africa, we have a lot of lime in the water. So about 4 years, we kind of realized that this lime comes through the air cooling units, and it looks like someone's had a cocaine party. It's crazy. So you need to build special filters, because obviously the European market doesn't have these kinds of challenges. So once again, if you're racing out and saying, I'm going to build a DC, lots of money, lots of challenges. Not very easy. One of the things that we really have found, and it's pretty much you guys find from a network perspective, but we find a lot in terms of skilled resources within the country. So as Teraco, once again, people go, will you ever compete with us? No, we won't. We employ civil engineers, diesel mechanics. I mean, we've got our one guy, Brian, don't ask me how he does this, but he goes and plays with the buzz bars with a massive spaceman suit on. Bravest man I've ever seen in my entire life. Would never go near those buzz bars, and I was not anywhere close to him when he was doing that. But essentially, these are kinds of people who know they can literally listen to the Jenny and say, hang on, something's running incorrectly. We know how to fix this immediately. Whereas in a typical service provider environment, generally, you guys would obviously do CCNA type people, CCIEs, network engineers, all those kinds of things. Two very different people that are coming into the environment. Hence why 100% focus on data center. So our methodology is around pretty much, we think if anything's going to break, it's going to be a person that's going to break it. So we build in plus redundancy on people, not very easy to find. as well as obviously on the technical side. The other key thing that we're starting to find is as you guys start virtualizing, you used to buy 7 racks from us, now you buy 2, and you want to cool it at like 10 kVA. And then you say, why is this not possible? Come on, guys. So essentially for us, the big thing that we're finding more and more has become a focus in the business is to be able to make sure that we have access to huge amounts of power, massive amounts of power. And how do we cool that? So we're spending more and more time, and there's actually, funny enough, been a restructure within Teraco so that we focus on that. So a lot of you know Gijs, who's built the data centers. He's now purely focusing on data center build. And we have a separated operations team who run the day-to-day, plus we have another operations team who run the physical DC and the power plants. So we've had to really separate in terms of the way people look and what they do within the physical data center itself. And it's because we realize these things are happening. No longer can we say, hey, we're limiting your rack, or you know what, we get calls to say you're not cooling my equipment, and we used to have an excuse of, oh, the fans blow on the side. Doesn't work anymore. You guys obviously know what you're doing, and we have a highly intellectual client base with massive SLAs behind it. So we have to make sure that we match up with that. And then geographical climate. So this has been a fun game for us. So once again, going to no DC build is the same. So pretty much if I have a look at Johannesburg in the evening is great. You get free cooling. It never goes higher than 19 degrees, so it's fantastic for a free cooling environment. However, if you go during the day, it can go up to 40 degrees C. So we, right in the beginning, put our chilling units right on the top. Original Teraco clients will know about this. And it gets really, really hot that the guys physically had to go and stand on the roof and spray those chilling units down. And we obviously can't do that anymore, so we've had to build environments to make sure that we can cater for high heats and the free cooling. For example, in Johannesburg, Durban, great humidity, you guys can feel it at the moment, so we obviously need to cater for that. And Cape Town is fantastic because they're going through a water crisis. So there's a number of different geographic environments that we need to cater for. And we have to employ DC managers within those areas who understand these geographic issues so that we can help support them. So I'm really keeping it light and low today, but lessons learned, my favorite one. And funny enough, this was a lesson when we started off. Our team, and it actually came from our financial manager, believe it or not, went to go visit Equinix on how do you do things. And that's why I put it right in the middle. Always label the cable. So life is easy when you're running 300 cross connects. When you're managing 9,000, it becomes interesting. When you guys phone late at night and you've got 542 put into one cabinet because you don't want to buy more space, understand. We need to try and find that at 1 o'clock in the morning so that you can test it and find out your SFP is broken, but that's okay. We've also got those on spare if anyone needs. So label the cable, and that is all the way through to our systems environment. So we've had to invest a huge amount of money into our systems environment to make sure that when you guys phone and say, hey, service order number blah, blah, blah is not working, please test this cable, please resolve, please swap SFPs, please do all these things, we're able to quickly and easily find that because we understand at that point your network is down or your client's network is down. So we have guys based on site 24/7 physically to actually do it. And it was quite interesting the first time we employed them. So it was actually Andrew, myself and the team who kind of motivated for these guys to be on site because we were moaning about Nap Africa and driving to Isando is not great at 1 in the morning. So we motivated for this team. So then that was probably about 3 years ago for the team to be employed. And they sat around in the DC doing nothing. I think they watched so much YouTube, it was ridiculous. But now they are so busy because of the type of clients that we have. As Africa goes to sleep, the rest of the world wakes up. And you suddenly start working 24-hour days. The other key thing is your PCI and your ISO requirements. So everyone goes on about Uptime Institute, and we all know we can draw a great diagram. Mark's going to give me one this week, apparently. So literally, we sat down, we had a look at what is the difference between an Uptime Institute type certification versus a PCI versus an ISO. And we found that for our clients, the PCI and the ISO requirements were far more valuable because you guys use that as selling tools. A number of times you guys come to us and say, please send me this PCI or this ISO certificate so that I can show my clients that I am in a certified data center. So that was the original reason we did it. Now it's moved into an incredibly operational role, which is fantastic because we've learned a lot on how we do things wrong. If you go to Isando, you will see the whole guardhouse is being rebuilt. It's fantastic. So we've learned through these processes and how to make things better for you guys and more secure for you guys so that you don't have to worry about keeping the lights on. And then last but not least, CapEx is insane. It doesn't stop. It really, really doesn't stop. But once again, it is a massive asset, and it's a massive asset to the African continent. And we're really honored to be part of it and have you guys as our community, because without you, Teraco would have never existed. So I think our promise to you guys and the community is we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We will remain neutral. A number of you have asked, are you guys going to start getting a license and competing with us? We still haven't to date. And to give you an idea, what will actually do that is 70% of our market is you guys, the ISPs and the carriers. So the moment I decide I'm going to go and sell a bandwidth service or sell a fiber connection, we'll lose you. So we're going to remain to what we are. And the second point on why we will remain neutral is, once again, we have Brian, the guy in the spaceman suit. I would never give him a router to configure. Henny, the cable guy, he's fantastic. He'll help carry your servers. He'll help do all of that. He looks a bit like Jan. It's a little bit stronger, I think. Maybe we can have a challenge. Henny versus Jan. But essentially, it's the type of resources that we employ as well. So for us to be able to compete with you, we would have to launch an entire new business, which literally our revenue and our resources and everything is focused on these data center builds. So that's kind of me. I'm trying to keep I know everyone's looking at me going, I need to go for drinks and I need to get ready for the fabulous CCOM dinner. So is there any questions, guys? Oh, here comes Jan.
The big guy.
The big guy.
Jan George. Question. What do you run out of first, space or electricity?
Power.
Yeah.
So essentially, Africa is the biggest issue with Africa is power and power availability. That's why we choose our locations really carefully on how we can get access to that power. Funny enough, if you get an application approved by the utility company and they'll say, cool, I'm giving you 24, 30 MVA, you think that's enough and it's still not. So we have a team that focuses on continuously applying for more power because it can take up to 4 years to get your application approved. So definitely power. Cool. Is that it? Oh, here comes.
Hi, this is Alan Barrett. So since power is an issue, are you doing rooftop solar?
The answer to that is we are investigating, and I'll give you the reasoning behind it. Is we investigated solar and we've got big roofs. You've seen the Teraco roofs. The size of the solar plant required, we don't have enough space for that. So it's not around the capex. We understand the long-term benefit of investing in solar. However, the size, the space that we would require would actually not make it beneficial to us or our clients. So what we are doing is doing a lot of solar first and experimenting first within the office environment, because we also don't want to put our clients on that, because SLAs are pretty much 100% uptime. So once we've solved that, then yeah, we are going to look at solar.
Okay, thanks.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thanks,
Let's give a
everyone.
round of applause.